We are going to shift our focus to personal experiences that inform our understanding of leadership. Our next speaker is Navshina Savory. She will share her unique journey as a Muslim woman in leadership. I want to read her bio, and I wish I can read her extended bio because it's just so beautiful, but I will share parts of it. Navshina is the District Principal of Equity, Inclusion, and Indigenous Success in a Metro Vancouver Public School District. She is a settler from Tanzania, Africa, and she came to Canada in 1975. She holds a Bachelor of Science and Professional Teaching Certificate from Simon Fraser University and a Master's degree in Educational Leadership from San Diego State University. In 1999, Navshina was the first South Asian female to become a secondary school administrator in the Surrey School District. Since then, she has built her skills and reputation as a caring and value-driven educational leader who is committed to her faith, her values, and equity for all those in her care. She founded the Az-Zahra Islamic Academy, an independent faith-based school, and she also served at the Az-Zahra School Board as the first female director on the executive committee in the position of Director of Education for more than a decade. She is passionate. Her passions are equity, anti-racism, Indigenous success with a focus on children and youth, learning, family, school, community improvement, and her faith. And I know Navshina comes from a family of educators. At one point, her and her two sisters were all principals at the same time of different schools. So a very education-loving family. And I want to welcome her to the stage to talk about how she has faced challenges and triumphs that have shaped her perspective on what it means to lead with courage and conviction. In her talk, she will reflect on the lessons she has learned along the way and how these experiences can empower other women in our community to embrace their own leadership potential. Let's welcome her to the stage.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Sister Fatima, for your introduction. And I did hear everybody take a sigh of relief when she said the last speaker. I appreciate it's been a long time that all of you have been sitting and listening to such amazing speakers. I must come to you with a great sense of humility because I have to admit I have not prepared anything. But let me tell you why. I've been a woman in leadership for a long time. And what I've learned in the years of leadership is that as women and as leaders, we often have to be able to pivot, to be flexible, and to balance. And this morning, I had carved out some time to ensure that I would take some time to write some words that I would not go off script. I would stay within the time that was allotted. Those are the things that women in leadership and women that are organized and do even informal leadership do. We come prepared. However, as I said, as a woman in leadership and doing this work a long time, I know that what my leadership actually brings, and each one of you bring, is your authenticity and who you are, your identity. And so this morning I chose, rather than take the time to prepare a speech for you, I took some time for myself. I got outside, and then the bathroom called. And when I mean the bathroom, I mean I had to clean my bathroom. Because I knew that spending that hour of doing a really nice job of cleaning the shower and the bathroom, when I got home, I would be in a better place to provide leadership for my family. And that's the other piece that I bring to you. What I've learned in my journey in leadership is that leadership is not only the professional leadership that we provide in the systems and in the places we show up, but it's also the leadership, and even more so at home, that we provide. It is our children, our families that look up to us to see what we do, and that balance of taking care of our families and taking care of our professional obligations are just as important, if not more so. In my early years as a vice principal and a principal in a public school system, I would often be, I guess, measured by my male colleagues who came to work just as I did, prepared to do the work that was required in the days that you can imagine what schools are like, providing support for students, parents, teachers, families. It's a lot of work, but I would show up to work just as prepared as my male counterparts, but there was always something else that was pulling at me. And through the years of leadership, what I've realized is there was nothing wrong with that, even though in the early days that was a criticism. That I would often hear that I was not given the promotions that I think I could have managed because I was too committed to my family. I was too committed to my faith. And although not explicit, those were the things that I know limited my progress. However, I come to now recognizing that those limitations were actually blessings. As we know in our faith that everything happens for a reason. In my previous district, I was not given the opportunity to move up that ladder. And I'll give you an example, a very specific example that lives with me to this day, when I would hear stories of, she's committed to her family, blah, blah, blah. When I had a male colleague who would often show up to work late. And we would always, accommodate, we would support. And the story that I heard, or the narrative that I heard for that person or that individual was, he's such a great guy, he's a family man. He stays at home every morning and has breakfast with his children. And that, to me, was lovely. I did not think any less of him. I thought great of him. But I realized at that moment that the system was not fair. The system was stacked against women. The system was stacked against women who supported their families. But again, I assure you that these are the stories that have built who I am. I come to you as a settler, I come to you as an immigrant, but I must mention that I had privilege, and the privilege that I had was the support of my family. I wouldn't be here, as the bio said, without those that have supported me. My mom, you know what the story is. Imagine leaving a comfortable life with 2 suitcases that has your entire life in there and coming to another country with a hope and a dream for your 3 daughters. And that hope and dream has carried us to a place where we've been able to fulfill our obligations as mothers, as sisters, and as leaders. So I stand on the shoulders of my ancestors, my parents. Leadership is about those who have lifted us. And so when I look back on my journey, I look at who can I bring forward, who can I lift? And that's where I am today. I'll share with you another small piece of something practical when it comes to Islamophobia and all hate that we experience within systems. I work in a school system. I work where each one of you at some point have had contact and access to. Whether you're a mother, you're a sister, you're a grandmother, you are a part of a system of education. And we know it's tough out there. But I'm going to tell you something. If something is happening in terms of hate related to your children, you must report it. And I know you've heard that over and over again. But as those that represent government have said, they are committed. And we must hold them to that commitment and their accountability. They say the things, so let's make sure that they do the things that they say, which is uphold our rights as individuals to belong and to feel safe, and our kids to feel safe. And representation does matter. When I was a principal in a secondary school, a large secondary school that was diverse of all students, of all backgrounds, it was the brown girls in hijab that would actually come up to me and touch me. I was shocked because they needed to feel that I was real, that somebody that looked like me could be in a position that perhaps one day they could be, or I think even bigger, they felt safe. They knew they could come to my office and tell me what had happened, and somebody would hear them. Somebody would empathize. Somebody would take their story and do something with it. I told you about hope. The hope is there. There are good people in the system, but those people sometimes need us to help them and to teach them, and the only thing we can do is support those that are within our family. I'm sure I had lots more I could say. All I say to you today is show up and belong. That's all I've ever done in my leadership journey. There were many times when I didn't feel like I belonged. I didn't feel like I was prepared. I didn't feel like I was good enough, but I just showed up and I tried to belong. And I ask that you guys do the same. And for the next generation, support them. And if they are not feeling a sense of belonging when they show up to their schools and their classrooms, speak up. The principals and vice principals, that was one thing that I want to mention. I'm a member of the board of directors of the BC Principals and Vice Principals Association, and that's the association that represents all BC principals and vice principals, and it's an elected position. And it was important for me to be there because I represent a voice. Because there's lots of times at those tables we are not represented. So I provide that insight. Again, I come to you with humility, not being prepared. I am on the shoulders of all those who came before me. We know that our beloved prophet, would never have fulfilled his prophecy without women. Our beloved Bibi Khadija, Bibi Fatima, and we stand on the shoulders of all women. With that, I thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.